Everyone, how are you today on this rain day? I am smelling your flowers.
They're very
You have flowers of death. They are probably ancient Inca burial flowers.
They're hyacinths.
Hyacinths?
Hyacinths?
It's not I don't think that's a word. That's something that hyacinths?
Hyacinth. And they smell like Flonase.
Flonase, it's so true. No, they have a really pungent smell.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell they're flowers, but they're not happy flowers. Ooh.
I don't like
Can
them.
I share another gift that I got that I was really excited about? I like it. So what I figured out was that it's not necessarily about the gift, because it's more about being recognized and a thoughtful gift. So there's one little thing that I like in the kitchen. It's called a whisk, and they're so practical. They have many uses. They come in varying sizes, shapes, and forms. There's different kinds of whisks. And my friend bought me a whisk for the kitchen that I don't have. It's got like one of those power shaker balls, and then the whisk like incredible. I can't wait to use it.
I can't wait for you to use it too.
Oh, what are we going to use it on? I was going to whisk water yesterday.
What do you use whisks for?
Yeah, because I'm on a cleanse right now. So there's no gluten. So I guess we have buckwheat. I can do the buckwheat whisk. We're going to have some buckwheat crepes, right? Are we going to have buckwheat crepes at some point?
Yeah.
Oh, this weekend maybe? What is buckwheat? It's not gluten, but it says wheat. Is that like coconut? It's not a nut,
You're gonna
but
have
it
to
says
Google that.
nut in it.
You're gonna have to Google that.
All right,
because
so
I've
we
already
haven't-
explained it to you, but I read it.
So is it a flour? Is it a wheat?
They
You
make
don't
flour
remember?
out of it.
They make one. Is
Like,
it
it's
a
not-
flour, like a bloom?
You're gonna have to look that up.
All right. April the 15th, we are going to talk about communication today. This is like our specialty. Like we know communication so well. We're not one of those couples that under communicate.
Not at all.
I wonder if that's what it's about.
Could be.
All right, communication. April the 15th. Part of owning our power is learning to communicate clearly, directly, and assertively. We don't have to beat around the bush in our conversations to control and the reactions of others. Guilt-producing comments only produce guilt. We don't have to fix or take care of people in our own words. We can't expect others to take care of us with words either. We can settle for being heard and accepted, and we can respectfully listen to what others have to say. Hinting at what we need doesn't work. Others can't read our minds, and they're likely to resent our indirectness. The best way to take responsibility for what we want is to ask for it directly. And we can insist on directness from others. Insist. If we need to say no to a particular request, we can. If someone is trying to control us through a conversation, we can refuse to participate. Acknowledging feelings such as disappointment or anger directly instead of making others guess at our feelings or having our feelings come out in other ways is part of responsible communication. If we don't know what we want to say, we can say that too. We can ask for information and use words to forge a closer connection, but we don't have to take people around the block with our conversations. We don't have to listen to or participate in nonsense. We can say what we want and stop when we're done. Whew! Prayer for today, my friends. Today, I will communicate clearly and directly in my conversations with others. I will strive to avoid manipulation, indirectness, or guilt-producing statements. I can be tactful and gentle whenever possible, and I can be assertive if necessary. Amen. That's like the dream. That's the goal right there. That prayer is like a statement of declaration.
It is.
Do you believe that we have communicated effectively in our addiction as a married couple?
No.
No. Do you believe that we have
Trying to figure
communicated?
out if that was a trick question.
That was not a trick. I don't even think you have to think about it. Do you believe that we have communicated effectively in our marriage?
At times.
See, I would say no until recently. Like, I would say probably because I don't remember the first 15 years. I was like, I think we communicated quite effectively. And now it's like the first part of recovery, it was horrible. And I think we're a vocal couple. We're not a what's the other end of couples where they just shut down? What are they called? Non-communicative. Yeah. So what we have is a couple of ways of communicating. They talked about assertive. So when we look at those, we do this in LifeLab. So you have what are the types? There's aggressive, passive aggressive, assertive, and passive. And so what we look at is a couple key words. So assertive is you count in the conversation and I count in the conversation. Aggressive is I count. Passive aggressive is I count, you don't count, and so on and so forth. So we really want to go in a conversation and have thinking around that I actually count to be heard and you actually count to be heard. And so that's effective communication. And there is so much in here to communicate properly and effectively. Yeah, where do you feel that you have been strong at in communicating in your recovery?
So I don't think that I hint at what I need. I don't think I.
Do you think I hint?
No,
I don't think we're hinters.
We don't hint. We're not hinters. And I don't expect people to read my mind. Although, yeah, I mean, I don't always know what I want and haven't always known how I feel. And so you're very direct. You're also very loud and you're also, yeah. And so I can, what have I done well is in the last few years, I will press in, even if it's uncomfortable. So before I would just I'm like, oh, it's uncomfortable. So I just want to shut down, but I will press in.
Mm-hmm. I believe that. I've witnessed it. Good job. No, and I think where I've been really weak is almost like a steamroller where I can be very, I can see my emotions, I can understand things quick, and I can observe myself a lot better. And so then I go at you. Mm-hmm. And then so I've apologized. I apologize for steamrolling. That's not a good way. But I think in the last year, especially, our communication has got really effective. And then recently, I remember talking about the road rage stuff. And I think that's a brilliant example. Is I used to drive a certain way. And I was a aggressive driver in a very defensive way. But I would teach people on the road that this behavior is not acceptable. I see injustices. So I'm blinking my lights, flashing my horn.
You would teach people about...
Yeah,
these are behaviors. I would
show them justice, and I would intimidate, and
you would show them behaviors
I'm not
that are
a
not
bad
acceptable.
driver on a daily basis. Like, I'm not a tailgater, but I will do that to intimidate somebody. And so I would, yeah. And so I remember you going like, I don't like driving like this. Yeah. This isn't a fun. You have. When
was that? Like 10, 12 years ago?
But even I would say, thank you for the grace that you're giving me. But I think I remember changing that and really bringing that to God to go, please take this away. Like, I don't know why this is happening, but there's a root cause of it.
Why do I turn into a crazy person behind the wheel of a car?
There's an injustice thing. There's a fear thing running it and feeling it. And so God actually was able to relieve me of that. But then how many times in a daily conversation or a weekly conversation is there this road rage in our conversations? And I was like, is that acceptable? And I'm like, I don't want to have road rage in our conversations. I don't want to have road rage while I'm driving. You need a coffee.
I do.
And I think that's a good perspective of looking at our conversations. Am I having road rage inside of me, and is it coming out?
Right.
And is that effective communication? Because what's being rattled down here? There's usually a root of fear or a root of resentment or something that's happening below for that to come out. So I think one thing is really understanding that I don't want to live in road rage. Another thing is really understanding how to be assertive and clear, and really understanding my feelings, my emotions, and really what I want to be direct. I think direct is good, but I was told that I'm like a brain surgeon, that I don't use anesthesia. And I'm like, thank you, but that's horrible. Like, imagine they're going to operate on you and no one gives you anesthesia. That's not a good way to be a doctor. That's a horrible doctor. That's a witch doctor. So I think that part of recovery is learning and growing in these areas, and really having God remove these character defects and bringing them to God, and asking him, like bringing them to God at once, and just saying, like, this is happening. I don't like this. Would you take this away?
Yeah.
And it's up to him to take it away and shape and mold. Yeah. Oh, it's a big conversation.
It is.
So great reading. Friends, it is Thursday. It's a rain day here in Ottawa.
Yeah.
At least it's not snowing.
I know.
When did we get married? It's coming up. April 27th. Was it?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. All right. We will see you tomorrow. Have a great afternoon. If you want to hang out and really investigate some of this way to communicate and recovery, join our LifeLab in the link below. And then, my friends, until next time, keep 6 feet apart and keep the peace and be of good behavior. It's good things to say. All right. Have a great afternoon.